I hope you can hear me. It's a little windy out and it's hot in. So I have my fan going. I also have my generator running because I'm getting that charged up for the day, but it's kind of windy today. So I don't know if you can hear that, but I hope you can hear me. So today I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about how I cope with living in a van by myself. Now, I want to say this, that I've been almost 6 years in my van now, and from the very beginning, I've had at least one dog, sometimes two dogs, and once, very briefly, I had three dogs in here, which was way too much. So yeah, I live alone in a van, but a dog is great company. He keeps me on a routine. We get up in the morning. He has his business to do. He needs to eat breakfast. He lets me answer comments on my social media. And sometimes he lets me drink my coffee leisurely, but then he wants to go out and throw the ball. Whoops, shouldn't say that out loud. Go to the park. He's full of energy. So he keeps me busy and on schedule. Now I know what his schedule is, so because he doesn't pay any attention to my schedule. So a dog is great company. But the question still is, how do you live in a van with not having a conversation with anybody for I don't know how long? I will say this, that this account here I have on YouTube, and I'm on TikTok as well, and I have a lot of conversations and connection with the people in both places, and I go live, people talk to me. So I do have that kind of a social life, but it's not like an up close and personal, sit down, have a cup of coffee, that kind of a social life. As I wrote in there, I do know one particular person, and I'm sure it's more than one, that actually quit living in a van because she needed the social part. She needed the social life. She needed friends. She needed to go out. She needed to do all of those things. Now, I will say I think she just turned 40, if I remember right, but she's single. And so she stopped living in her RV. She travels for work, so she's here, there, and everywhere. I'm not even sure where she is right now. Last I heard she was in Phoenix, but I'm sure there are other people who do that as well. And some people I'm sure that need the social part would stay in campgrounds maybe, or go in women caravan. They have, people that do that. I don't know how they exactly do that because I'm not affiliated with any of those. I don't mind being alone. As a matter of fact, I kind of prefer it. And I always say this, if I want to, go see somebody or go get immersed in people again, I just go to Walmart, and then I do that, and I'm good for, another week because, whatever. But I don't have a problem with it. I don't see it as a coping issue really at all. I would like to have a cup of coffee sometime with somebody, or I wouldn't mind. I have in the past boondocked with other people, and I've also moochdocking, and like I'm moochdocking right now, and it's okay because I have my own house to go to, so I could just say, well, I got to go do whatever I need to do and go in my house and shut the door. So I can do that. I went to a wedding in the desert one time, and there were probably 10 or 12, at least 12 vans or RVs, and we all were in a circle, and it was very social because they had like after the wedding, the reception. It was outdoor with a big bonfire, and they had a DJ and all of that. And that wasn't me to get involved with it. So I just listened to the music and played with my dog and stayed in the van. Some people, though, like I say, they need the, thank you for the like, they need the social part enough so that they stay in campgrounds. That's just not for me. Campgrounds, the people are too close, and there's no real privacy. At least that's how I feel about it. I may be wrong. Somebody on here may, watching this may say that they love to live in campgrounds because of the social part, but I don't need that. So my social life is my dog, who keeps me on track and talks to me. I know all of his barks, which is which. I go to Walmart maybe once a week, and I'm on social media. And that is the way I socialize, is I'm on here with you guys like right now, and talking and communicating about whatever, is on your mind or on my mind. I think, however, that probably there are also a lot of people that are a little bit afraid to get on the road by themselves, not only because they don't want to be alone, but because maybe they're still a little bit scared of, where am I going to stay? What if I break down? All of the things that go with that, which I'm past that now. 6 years, you get past all of that stuff. But still, I wrote that in there. How do I cope with it? But the answer really is, I don't find it that I need any real coping skills, because I don't really mind being alone. I have been out in the woods or out in the desert for a week at a time and not seen or talked to anybody, except maybe on social media. Of course, now that I have Starlink, I can go anywhere that I want to and still be able to be on and have a conversation. And that may seem sad to a lot of people, that my social life is on social media, but I don't see it that way, because I have made some great friends on social media that I go and Moochdocking with, that I meet up all over the country and we have a cup of coffee or lunch, or we boondock together. So when I'm on here, I meet new people, just like you do in real life person, and then maybe have an opportunity to actually meet in person at some time. I Moochdocking a few months ago up in Massachusetts with someone that I met here on, I met him on TikTok, not on YouTube, but same idea. And I stayed there for 3 or 4 days. But when it was time for me to, go to my house, we ate together a couple of times, but mostly we didn't eat together. It was just a place for me to park. We had a bonfire and s'mores at night, and that's plenty. That's plenty for me. Different people have different kinds of personality. And we used to do this personality test kind of, and there was one whole category that the people were social, they were the life of the party, and they had to be around, they talk, and there are people in vans, or maybe they just are not in vans anymore, that need that. But there's a lot of us out here that don't. I was boondocking a couple of weeks ago, and there was somebody else that came in like down here, because as boondockers we have a certain code. We know that nobody wants to park right beside each other, so we park over here. But I noticed that it was a single woman, and she was traveling by herself. I didn't even see that she had a dog or anything. So her social life, I don't know what it looks like, but if she's traveling by herself, then she may not really have one either. Maybe it's on social media. I don't know. The few times that I have met up and boondocked with people, one of them, I was in Flagstaff, and my generator broke, and I was waiting for the generator. Now, so I met up with someone that I met on TikTok, and we ended up boondocking together for 3 weeks, because that's how long it took me to get my generator, and she was not in any hurry to go anywhere, so she stayed as well. And we had a great visit, but we both needed our own space. And living in a van, that's very easy to do, is have your own space, because you just go, I'm going home. Or you can drive away, one or the other. I guess if I had to say what would be my biggest way to cope with living alone is, and it may seem sad to you, but of course you're on here watching this, is social media. I'm sorry, it is. Uh, it's a way for the world to stay connected, and it's more and more it's getting that way. I made an appointment for an eye to get I see I have no glasses on. My glasses broke, to get my eyes checked, and it's a virtual eye doctor. It's not even in person anymore. We do everything online now in some way or another. Excuse me. I have two, you know, doctors, you could say, not really, but sort of doctors, and we online Zoom calls. I have a one-on-one, one-on-one Vanlife strategy session that you can find the link in the description below, that I help people put together the plan so that they can actually follow it to get onto the road. How do I do that? Google Meet. Anyway, I love living alone in my van. I'm very, let me add this to that. I happen to be in Texas, where I last lived, and my family is here. So it was kind of a blended family, just all over the place. Anyway, my grandson's 14 years old, and he's playing football tonight at a town a little bit away. Well, probably 30, 40 miles away. I'm not going because I don't have glasses, but you would think that we would all travel together, right? Everybody takes their own car. There will be my daughter and her husband, and then my granddaughter, his other grandmother, and my husband, I think, is probably gone. So everybody brings their own cars. So even that has become not even a social thing anymore. I never have anybody ride with me because who would I have ride, right? So I think that maybe it's a sad thing that we do everything online now. That's how we meet people. Unless people swipe left and right and all of those things. I don't even know what that's about, really. And I enjoy living alone. I don't have anybody under my feet. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do whenever I want to do it. And maybe that's selfish, but that's just the way I want my life right now. If you want to have a social life and you want it to be robust, then probably you shouldn't live alone on the road in any kind of an RV unless you plan on staying in campgrounds. Because if you boondock, we have, like I say, we have our code. We don't get near each other, and quite often we don't even introduce each other, to say anything. So you're over there, I'm over here, and that's kind of we're apparently we're all just loners. Loners. I live in a van alone, and I love it. So that's the answer to the question. I don't really have any coping skills for it because I enjoy doing it. And if I did, I would say it's social media. It would be my coping skill. Some days I don't want to talk to anybody, so I don't get on social media. People will say, I didn't see your post yesterday. Where were you? I'm like, well, okay, see, so somebody missed me. Anyway, I love living in my van. If you're watching this and you've ever even thought about it, book a session with me in the description below, and let's explore. I have people say to me, I can't afford to. Well, that may not be true, but let's explore and see. I have a Dream to Drive series on here that you might want to watch if you're interested in it. We go through a lot of the financial things and just different ways to get you on the road. But remember, if you need a robust social life, you may not find it on the road. Anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Thank you so much for everybody that's come on here and to see what we're doing here today. Matrix is having a nap. I got to run into Walmart and get him some new treats. And then we're off to the next thing, which should probably be the laundry, but I keep crossing that off. Been a while. But anyway, I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you maybe later today and or maybe tomorrow. Thank you so much for the like.